It's 4 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, in Moscow, Idaho, a sleepy college town nestled under a blanket of stars, the air crisp with the scent of pine and the faint hum of late-night activity fading from the University of Idaho campus. The streets are quiet, save for the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant bark of a dog. A DoorDash driver, a 44-year-old woman in a gray hoodie, pulls up to a two-story house on King Road. Its windows dark except for a flicker of light from the second floor. She steps out, her breath visible in the cold, carrying a bag of Jack-in-the-Box food, the warm aroma cutting through the night. The house, a typical off-campus rental with peeling paint and a cluttered porch, belongs to Xana Kernadal, one of 4 students inside. The driver parks her car, hands off the order to Xana at the door, and notices a man lingering nearby, a tall figure in dark clothing, his face obscured by the shadows, standing beside a white Hyundai Elantra. She thinks nothing of it, muttering to herself, just another late-night pickup. Her hands adjusting her hood as she drives off. But months later, that fleeting moment would haunt her. In December 2022, police arrested Bryan Kohberger, a 27-year-old criminology PhD student, charging him with the brutal stabbings of Xana, her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, and roommates Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan, all found dead that morning. Fast forward to 2025, 3 years later, and a shocking twist emerges. During a September 2024 traffic stop in Pullman, Washington, the same driver, now wrapped in a gray blanket and emotional, confesses to police, "I saw Bryan there. I parked right next to him." Officer Mark Jensen, a 38-year-old Pullman PD officer with stern blue eyes, records her words on body cam, his hands steady as he asks, "Which case?" She replies, "The murder case with the college girls. I'm the DoorDash driver." She repeats this to 3 officers, insisting she'll testify in Kohberger's August 2025 trial. Her initials, MM, match court documents, and prosecutors see her as a key witness. Who was this driver and what did she really see that night? Was Kohberger stalking his victims? Or was this a random encounter gone wrong? Posts on X buzz with excitement, some calling her a game changer, others questioning her credibility due to her DUI charge. Stick around, because this story unravels a mystery that's gripped the nation. A tale of silence, suspicion, and a confession that could rewrite the case. Moscow, Idaho, is a sleepy college town, its streets lined with brick buildings and cozy cafes, home to the University of Idaho, where students thrive amid a backdrop of rolling hills. On November 12, 2022, for students, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernadal, and Ethan Chapin were out enjoying a typical Saturday night, the air filled with the buzz of youth and freedom. Kaylee, 21, with her long brown hair and a laugh that lit up rooms, and Madison, also 21, with her infectious grin, hit the bars downtown, sipping drinks and dancing to pop music at the corner club, their hands raised in celebration. Xana, 20, with her quiet confidence and short dark hair, and her boyfriend Ethan, 20, a lanky basketball player with a warm smile, spent the evening together, celebrating senior day after a football game, their voices echoing with cheers at the stadium. By 2 a.m., they were all back at the off-campus house on King Road, a place known for late-night parties and college chaos, its walls vibrating with music from past gatherings. 2 other roommates, Dylan Mortensen, 19, with her blonde ponytail and nervous energy, and Bethany Funk, 21, with her studious demeanor, were also home, still awake in their first-floor rooms, scrolling through phones. Around 4 a.m., Xana, likely hungry after the night, placed a DoorDash order from Jack-in-the-Box in Pullman, 8 miles away. The 44-year-old driver, a local with tired eyes and a steady routine, delivered it without a hitch, her hands passing the bag to Xana at the door, the transaction brief under the porch light. But within minutes, between 4:07 and 4:20 a.m., something horrific happened. A masked intruder slipped into the house, moving silently through the halls, and stabbed Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, silencing them, their rooms turning into a scene of chaos and blood. The surviving roommates didn't call 911 until hours later, around noon, when Dylan, trembling, dialed with a shaky voice. "There's blood everywhere. I think they're hurt." Police arrive to a gruesome scene. 4 bodies, multiple stab wounds, a knife sheath left behind, and a baffling timeline. How did this happen so fast, and why didn't anyone hear it? Dylan later told investigators she heard noises but froze, her hands clutching her phone, unsure if it was a prank. To understand, we need to meet the man at the center of it all, a figure whose presence that night would soon dominate the investigation. Bryan Kohberger wasn't your average suspect. His life a mix of academic ambition and unsettling quirks. In 2022, he was a 27-year-old criminology PhD student at Washington State University, just 8 miles from Moscow, having moved from Pennsylvania to Pullman that summer with his white Hyundai Elantra packed with books and dreams. He'd enrolled in a program where he studied the minds of criminals, his hands scribbling notes on psychological profiles, and even posted on Reddit under a username, asking ex-convicts about their thoughts and emotions during crimes, his curiosity bordering on obsession. Ironic, right? But his life wasn't all academic. As a teaching assistant, he clashed with students over his demanding style, his blue eyes glaring during lectures, and colleagues complained to the dean, one professor noting, "He pushed too hard, alienated everyone." Kohberger's lawyers say he was just a night owl, often driving alone to hike or stargaze, his hands gripping the wheel as he sought solitude under the star. They claim his cell phone data proves he wasn't near King Road when the murders happened, his location pinging in Pullman at 4 a.m. Yet prosecutors paint a different picture, pointing to DNA from a knife sheath found under Madison Mogen's body, linked to Kohberger through genetic genealogy, a technique that traced his family tree back to Pennsylvania. They also have security footage of a white Hyundai Elantra like his, circling King Road 23 times in the weeks before, and caught nearby between 4:04 and 4:20 a.m. No clear motive has emerged. Did he know the victims? Or was this random? Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's dad, with his graying hair and determined voice, told reporters in 2025, "We don't know why he picked our girls. Subscribe now because the answer might lie with a witness who saw something no one expected, and we'll get to her story next, a revelation that could turn the case upside down." Fast forward to September 2024, 3 years after the murders, and a twist emerges that could change everything. A 44-year-old woman, pulled over in Pullman, Washington, for an unrelated traffic stop, starts talking to police, her voice trembling with emotion. Wrapped in a gray blanket, her hands fidgeting, she drops a bombshell to Officer Mark Jensen, a 38-year-old with stern blue eyes and a steady hand on his body cam. "I saw Bryan there. She's the DoorDash driver who delivered to Xana Kernadle's house just before the killings." Claiming she parked right next to a man she now identifies as Bryan Kohberger. She repeats this to 3 officers, her voice rising. "I have to testify in the big murder case. I'm the DoorDash driver," insisting she'll take the stand in his August 2025 trial. Her initials, MM, match court documents referencing a DoorDash driver, and prosecutors say her testimony could pin down the timeline. Xana was likely awake at 4 a.m., her phone active on TikTok, minutes before the attack. Court records confirm a Jack in the Box order arrived at 3:59 a.m., aligning with her account. But here's the twist. She was on prescription painkillers during the stop, charged with negligent driving after pleading guilty, and mentioned PTSD from her husband's death in Moscow in 2013, her hands clutching the blanket tighter as she spoke. Officer Jensen notes in his report, her story checks out with the delivery time, but her state raises questions. Is she a reliable witness? Or is her story clouded by stress and medication? Posts on X in 2025 call her a key witness or a drugged-up liar. The sentiment split. This confession could make or break the case. But it's not the only eyewitness account. Another chilling detail from that night is about to surface, one that adds fuel to the fire. Dylan Mortensen, one of the 2 surviving roommates, told police she saw something terrifying that night, her voice shaking as she recounted it in 2022. Around 4 a.m., she heard noises, thuds and a whimper from upstairs, and opened her bedroom door to check, her blonde ponytail swaying. There, in the dim hallway lit only by a nightlight, She saw a masked man with bushy eyebrows leaving the house, his black-clad figure moving toward the sliding glass door. She froze, her hands clutching the doorknob, locked her door, and didn't call 911 until hours later, around noon, when she finally dialed with a trembling, "There's something wrong, please come." Why the delay? Fear? Shock? Or maybe she didn't realize the gravity until she found her friends' bodies. Their rooms a mess of overturned furniture and blood. That bushy eyebrows detail became a hallmark of the case, shaping early suspect sketches, and Dylan's account, given under hypnosis to jog her memory, described a 5 feet 10 inches man, athletically built. Paired with the DoorDash driver's confession, these two living witnesses place a suspect near the crime scene. Prosecutors say the driver's delivery sets a timeline, while Dylan's sighting confirms an intruder. But Kohberger's defense argues he was miles away, backed by cell phone data showing him in Pullman, and they've hinted at an alternate suspect, suggesting Dylan's shock might have blurred her perception. If you're still watching, you need to subscribe. Could these witnesses be mistaken? The case gets murkier when you look at the evidence or lack of it. That ties it all together, a puzzle that keeps investigators and online sleuths on edge. Kohberger's case is a puzzle with missing pieces, each clue a thread in a tangled web. There's no known connection between him and the victims. No texts, no social media links, no witnesses saying they met. The evidence is mostly circumstantial. DNA on a knife sheath found under Madison Mogen's body, traced to Kohberger via genetic genealogy, a technique that raised ethical debates online. Security footage of his white Hyundai Elantra circling King Road 23 times before November 13, 2022, and caught nearby between 4:04 and 4:20 a.m. And now the witness accounts from the driver and Dylan. Prosecutors also have Kohberger's online habits, Reddit posts asking about criminal minds, searches for sociopathic traits, and Idaho murders post-crime, hinting at a fascination that looks suspicious in hindsight. But his lawyers are fighting hard, challenging the DNA evidence as contaminated, pushing to exclude the DoorDash records as hearsay, and citing cell phone data placing him in Pullman at 4 a.m. Then there's the mystery of the delay. Why did Dylan and Bethany wait until noon to call 911? Police say the murders happened around 4 a.m., but the call came after hours of silence. Dylan later explained, "I thought it was a prank. I was scared to look." Her hands shaking as she spoke to detectives. Bethany, quieter, added, "We didn't know it was real until morning." Blood found on a stairwell and a glove outside, unmatched to Kohberger, fuels defense claims of an alternate suspect. Posts on X in 2025 speculate wildly, from third-party involvement to Dylan's hiding something. The sentiment inconclusive but buzzing. These questions keep the case alive, but something even bigger is at stake here, and it's about more than just one trial. It's about the safety of a generation. The Idaho murders aren't just a crime story. They've exposed cracks in how we handle safety and justice, a wake-up call echoing beyond Moscow. College towns like this are supposed to be safe havens, but off-campus housing often lacks security. Unlocked doors, dim lighting, and late-night parties leaving students vulnerable. The gig economy, too, puts workers like the DoorDash driver in risky spots, delivering to strangers in the dead of night, their cars easy targets. On X, posts in 2025 show people demanding better protections, with users like at Safety First ID pleading, "Lock your doors, kids," and at gig workerites pushing, "Drivers need safety protocols," sentiments reflecting a public shift. The trial, set for August 2025, will test more than just Kohberger's guilt. It's a referendum on circumstantial evidence, witness reliability, and how we balance technology, like DNA genealogy, with human accounts. Families of the victims, like Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's dad with graying hair and a determined voice, are watching closely, telling reporters in June 2025, "We need truth, not just a conviction." Sarah Kernadel, Xana's mother with tired green eyes, adds at a vigil, "This can't happen again. Our kids deserve better." Local journalist Jake Peterson, 29, with hazel eyes and a recorder in hand, notes at a press conference, "This case is sparking change. New security laws are in draft. But with so many unanswered questions, why the victims, why that night? Will justice feel complete? The case's impact stretches beyond the courtroom, challenging how we protect our communities. 3 years after 4 bright lives were cut short on November 13, 2022, the Idaho murders still haunt us, their echoes rippling through Moscow and beyond. Kaylee Goncalves, with her infectious laugh, Madison Mogen, with her warm grin, Xana Kernadal, with her quiet strength, and Ethan Chapin, with his athletic spirit. They were more than victims. They were friends, students, dreamers whose futures were stolen in the dark. A DoorDash driver's confession in 2025, her voice trembling as she said, "I saw Bryan there," and Dylan Mortenson's fleeting glimpse of a masked man offer hope for answers. But they also remind us how fragile truth can be, how a moment's hesitation can change everything. As Bryan Kohberger's trial looms in August 2025, the world waits to see if justice will bring peace to this small town. His fate hanging on DNA, footage, and witness words. Sarah Kernadal, at a June 2025 memorial, her hands clutching a photo album, whispers, "They're still with us. Let's make it safe for others." Steve Goncalves, addressing a crowd, adds, "Closure's a start, but safety's the goal." This isn't just a case. It's a reminder to hold tight to the ones we love and question the safety we take for granted. What do you think? Did the DoorDash driver see the killer? Or is her story unreliable? Have you heard theories about other suspects on X or elsewhere? Share your thoughts below. We're eager to hear your voice. Like and subscribe for more true crime mysteries, and check our playlist for stories like DoorDash driver vanishes in 2025, Shocking murder case rocks South Carolina, to dive deeper. Let's honor Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan by seeking truth and pushing for change. Their legacy a light in the dark.